So I'm actually recording these very early in the morning because my partner's working nights and I don't want to record them while she's like sleeping in the next room. So yeah, the Death Riders video in this one recorded pretty early. Got my orange juice. So if some of this is rambling nonsense, then you know what's up. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about predictions. We got there in the end. I said I was going to do this video and I'm finally doing it, my 5 wild predictions for pro wrestling in 2025. But before we dive into this, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So yes, these are going to be some out there, strange, potentially wacky predictions for the year of 2025 in pro wrestling. All promotions are available. I've taken some of booking, some of business, so all over the map. And I've narrowed down my 5 to what we will hopefully get in 2025. I think it speaks for itself, but let's just dive into this with number 5. So at number 5, we have Ring of Honor will finally find a TV deal and it will relocate from Honor Club. I think it's pretty crazy that for some reason Ring of Honor has not been included in the Max deal. I don't understand why when it falls under the AEW umbrella. But I think Ring of Honor will probably get a TV deal just because TV and streaming platforms are looking for content. They're always looking for content to bring in. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up on like Amazon Prime or something like that, or some sort of streaming service that's not Honor Club, because I don't know how many people are going to Honor Club to subscribe to these pay-per-views and the weekly product. But I think Ring of Honor will get a TV deal. If some of the promotions that have got TV deals can get TV deals, I don't see why Ring of Honor won't. I think it's just getting that domino effect, getting them all lined up, and eventually having Ring of Honor on TV. How long that lasts is another question, but I think bolstering it with, yes, Chris Jericho, Danhausen, getting a few big names on there to sort of bolster up that brand. I think it's sort of inevitable at this point that Ring of Honor will find a home. It'll be interesting to see where it lands. Coming in at number 4, now this is completely selfish for me, but we have AEW announces a UK tour. Now I know that AEW stopped doing house shows. They did initially do house shows in like the very early days of AEW, but a UK tour, I think you're just asking, not asking. It's basically free money, because I think the market over here for AEW is very, very big. You would have people coming in from Europe to see the shows and doing sort of like a 4-5 day tour of the UK, hitting Manchester, Birmingham, London, Glasgow, maybe doing a show in Ireland as well. I think there's enough there to really establish and plant the flag down that yes, the UK is the home of AEW. Like that, this is a big portion of the fan base. It's available on ITV. People watch it. We have All In, big stadium show, Forbidden Doors coming. I don't understand why a UK tour would be a bad idea. Like, granted, you may not be able to fill arenas, but you could easily fill some of like the bigger venues here at the UK if you marketed it well with Ospreay, Swerve, Hangman, potentially Kenny. You could easily fill a lot of places here in the UK, and I think we're chomping at the bit for a proper AEW tour because it's not been done before. And the first AEW tour here, I think, would be a genuinely big success. Even if you think that it's diminishing returns for AEW at the moment, I think a UK tour would really help it get more buzz about the promotion, a lot of ticket sales. It makes all the sense in the world to me. Coming in at number 3, and I had to do some research for this one because I was like, surely not. And it's apt that I'm recording this after Penta has made his WWE debut, but it is a luchador will win a world title in AEW, WWE, TNA, or New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I had to go through all of these promotions to try and find who has held a world championship and when, and it's pretty damning. No one in AEW, no one in New Japan, from looking at it. If you can correct me on that, if a luchador has held a world title in New Japan, please let me know, and I could be wrong about that. So no one in AEW, no one in New Japan. The last person to hold a world championship, last luchador to hold a world championship in WWE was Rey Mysterio in 2011. The last luchador to hold a world championship in TNA was Penta in 2018. Around the world, the most recent that I could find was El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. in Noah holding the GHC World Championship. Also, Bandido held the Ring of Honor World Championship in 2021. I think there has been a criminal amount of misrepresentation and just underappreciation for Lucha Libre in general. I love Lucha Libre. It's one of my favourite styles of wrestling. And I think why aren't they being given these main event spots? I think we saw that with the Lucha Brothers in WWE. I think a lot of people are expecting Penta to sort of break out into that main event singles role, but it's not happened. I don't understand what the hold up is of doing this and sort of treating them as mid-carders, whether it be LWO, whether it be guys like Commander or Bandido to an extent debuting on Ring of Honor again. They're not being pushed into these world title scenes. That makes me really sad because I love Lucha Libre. I think it's such a cool form of wrestling. If I had to put a prediction on who I think it'll be, I think it will actually probably be El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. and I think he will hold the NXT World Championship in 2025. I think he's probably bound to go to NXT when his contract has now expired with Noah. I think he will hold that title this year potentially. I don't know actually because I did just remember it is on Obafemi. So he might have a monster run. But I think he's the best shot in terms of who's going to hold the world title. And I think it's just a bit sad, really, that lucha wrestling is underappreciated. I'm hoping that changes with Penta. I'm hoping that now Penta's in WWE, he's not with Rey Fenix, he's a single star. He can be pushed into that World Heavyweight Championship scene, maybe have a match with Gunther. But again, it's not really one that I see Penta winning, unfortunately. I'd love it if he did. God damn, I would fucking love it if Penta won that World Heavyweight Championship. But yeah, Lucha Libre, US, you need to do better. Coming in at number 2, we have Mercedes Moné versus Athena will main event an AEW pay-per-view. I think if there is one women's match on the cards in all of like American wrestling at the moment, it is Mercedes Moné versus Athena, the forever champ versus the CEO, and I think that should be, and probably, I think that should be the first AEW women's pay-per-view main event, in my opinion. I think it has all the hype behind it. You have Mercedes with her 4 belts, you have her wanting to get the ROH Women's Championship as well against Athena. That makes all the sense in the world in locking those stories up, and it just gets Athena on AEW, not Ring of Honor, because she's so good. She needs to be on AEW Dynamite regularly. I think the only other match that has a potential of main eventing is potentially having Toni Storm versus Mariah May at Grand Slam. I don't know if that's even still a pay-per-view. I think that might just be a Dynamite special. I thought it was a pay-per-view, but it doesn't look like it's a pay-per-view anymore. If it is a pay-per-view, that might be the first women's pay-per-view main event. Yeah, Mercedes Moné versus Athena, though, that's the match I'm clamouring for. That is the one that I'm hoping it's towards All in Texas, where you can get Athena coming down, sort of knocking on the door of the CEO, and we can have the war of words between the two. That is a feud that really gets me excited. I think it'd be so cool, and I hope it main events an AEW pay-per-view, because I think we've been so deserved with women not main eventing pay-per-views that this is the one, this is the money match for me. And coming in at number 1, we have NXT NA Worlds Collide is announced. A pay-per-view, premium live event, whatever you want to call it, on Netflix. I don't know if that's with rights. I don't even know if that's possible. I assume it is. NXT and TNA doing a crossover. Worlds Collide, they already have the branding when they did NXT UK versus NXT. Just do a Worlds Collide and have TNA versus NXT. Because this partnership with TNA, I'm recording this just after NXT went out. Masha Slamovich was in the crowd. So you've still got that TNA relationship going on. But I think that it's such untapped potential. Having Obafemi this like Nick Nemeth or Joe Hendry or Moose, and having this big Survivor Series-esque show, brand warfare, even if it's just friendly competition, NXT NA, as I call it, would be a really fun little experiment. I'd love to see it. You already have the branding. NXT NA writes itself. Like, what are we doing over there? TNA and NXT? Get your stuff together and just do a Worlds Collide event. If you really want to be petty, do it on the night of an AEW pay-per-view, because that's what they tend to do. And then you could probably like make the argument, oh, we outdrew them. TNA outdrew AEW or whatever, because that seems to be what they like to do. But yeah, I think NXT NA will be announced. It rolls off the tongue. Like, I'm just saying it now, NXT NA. It just rolls off the tongue so nicely. And I think it will be announced. I think it's a big missed opportunity if this doesn't get announced in 2025. And that wraps up my list. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. What are your predictions for 2025? Let me know and I'll try to apply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.